Welcome to Disciple Makers. I am Jeremy, and we are here to help all of us to courageously multiply followers of Christ. And so we here want to provide tools, encouragement, a word for us to just keep going, keep pouring and investing into others. There's this verse in John 1 verse 6 that I absolutely love. It is a simple verse and it's referring to John the Baptist. And it says this: there was a man sent from God whose name was John. There was a man who was sent from God and his name was John. Just the simplicity that there was this moment in time where God decided to send somebody to make an impact, to make a difference, to literally, in John's case, to prepare the way for the Messiah to come. There was a man who was sent from God. His name was John. I think of all the people in my life that God sent in my way, that God put in my path to encourage me, to motivate me, to challenge me, to exhort me, to say, Jeremy, knock it off. You're doing this the wrong way. You need to go in this direction. The people that I think of, the list is so long, that said a certain word, that were there, that just showed up, that were present for me. I think of all the people in my life that I would look back and say, there was a man, there was a woman named blank that was sent from God. Those people were sent from God specifically to help me, to encourage me, to point me in the right direction. And it's interesting what it continues to say about John. It says he came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. There came a man who was sent from God. His name was John. He wasn't the light. He wasn't the Messiah. He wasn't the one. But he was the one who God sent to prepare the way for the one. It's amazing, as Pastor Caleb talked about this week, we are not only saved, but we are sent. That the God of this universe allows us to play a role in other people's stories. That we get to come alongside. That we get to be, fill in your name, there came a man, there came a woman who was sent from God. His name was Jeremy. His name was your name. And so for us this week, in these coming weeks, who is it that God has sent into our lives that He is calling us to invest, to pour into, to make investments in, to help them as we're on this journey to follow Jesus, to help them along in their journey as well. What a responsibility, what a privilege we get to not only be saved by God, but sent from God. And so for us this week, I encourage you, I'm going to add a couple of questions to this post. But who is it that God has put in your life? Who is it that you think you are sent to invest in? Who is it that has poured into you? One of the things we often say in discipleship is, how do I do it? What does that look like? Well, I think one of the best ways to go about it is, who poured into you? What did that look like? Who do you look back and you say those words, there came a man, there came a woman who was sent from God. His name, her name was. Who was that person in your life? What did they do? How did they encourage you? How did they point you to God's word? What did that look like? That's a great start with what it should look like for you and the people you are investing in. And so just like those people showed up in your life, who are you investing in? Who are you pouring into? Who are you showing up in their life? This week, let's be thoughtful about that. Let's be intentional about that. We can just keep making excuses, or we can decide to just be intentional about making disciples with our vision to courageously multiply followers of Christ, so that we make disciples who make disciples who make disciples. Thanks for joining us, Disciple Makers. Let's keep making disciples.